Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and today we're going to be talking about the Eldar as we get into the Autarch. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. If you have any suggestions, please comment down below. Let us know what they are, and we'll try to create a video for you. And if you enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. It is because of them that we can do this. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Eldar Autarch. Compared to humans, the Eldar are incredibly long-lived. In the ancient past, this Xeno race learned the dangers of unfettered indulgence, much to their loss, and so this society is now rigidly structured around the concept of the paths of life. Over the course of their long lives, Eldar choose one of many different paths, not moving on to another until they have mastered their current choice. The paths most familiar to Imperial scholars are the Path of the Warrior and the Paths of the Seers. Following the Path of the Warrior, an Eldar chooses one warrior aspect of their war god, Kalamancha Kane, and pursues it to its total mastery. Once they have mastered that path, most of these warriors then put aside their armor and weapons and pursue a new path completely unrelated to warfare and violence. When this happens and an Eldar leaves an aspect shrine, he abandons its teachings and disciplines, forsakes its weapons and war gears, and absolutely disassociates himself from it in order to pursue a completely new path. This isn't the case for the Autarch, however, whose duty it is to learn as much about each aspect and then return to defend his craft world. To this end, the Autarch will join each of the craft world's most prevalent shrines for a time, learning all he can of the rituals, skills, and battle doctrines of that aspect. Once he has taken the teachings of that shrine into himself, he will leave, though he will first participate in a ceremony with the shrine's exarch, known as the Ranlana, or the Convent of War Gifts. In this secretive rite, a selection of weapons, armor, and war gear of the shrine are laid out before the Autarch, from which he chooses a single item to take with him on his ritual journey. The Autarch retains this war gear throughout his life, using it and the knowledge that it represents for the betterment of his craft world. An Autarch's insight into each element of the Eldar warhost gives him an unparalleled strategic ability that an exarch who obsesses with one facade of Kane's bloody craft could never hope to achieve. When an Eldar army is led by an Autarch and guided by their Farseer advisors, it functions as well as a well-honed machine, each component acting in perfect concert with one another to form an incredibly powerful force. However, it is not purely as a commander that the Autarch excels. When the warlust is in him, he will call upon the skills he has honed amongst the aspect shrines to spearhead assaults, duel with the leaders of the foe, and destroy their war machines with contemptuous ease. Many Autarchs lead their war host from the front, plunging into the fray to change the course of the conflict with each well-placed kill. Those selected to walk this path must be the most capable of their kind, for they carry the weight of their race's survival on their shoulders. They must be willing to devote themselves to a long and arduous task above all else. After a time, every Autarch comes to learn that the road to true martial excellence lies not in the heat of melee, but rather in gaining a wider vision of the battle and directing the Eldar warhost along the most efficient path to victory. For an aspect warrior, success is to embody a specific element of Kane's warlike nature, becoming one with his ritual weapon so that he might slay the foe with preternatural grace and ease. For an Autarch, success is to harness every aspect of Kane's might all at once to achieve victory without weakening the craft world and prove the supremacy of the Eldar race in the process. In this way, Autarchs possess a complete understanding of the art of war and serve as the supreme commanders of the Eldar craft world's war host. By its very nature, this path forces an Eldar to travel outside of their craft world. Such was the case for Nyathorin Kithmantras, the Wandering Scholar. Most often alone, she traveled from planet to planet, compiling a collection of all knowledge concerning ancient battles. All of her research revolves around mankind's earliest wars within the region, and she has amassed vast amounts of knowledge from that period, but she does not part with this wisdom lightly. To beg for her assistance is often more dangerous than to meet her in open combat. A few rogue traders desperate enough to brave the scholar's wrath may seek out the Xenos Kithmantras when all other options have been exhausted, but most come to regret this decision. The Autarchs are truly the cream of the crop when it comes to the Eldari warriors. Following the path of the leader, or the path of command, is truly a way to separate oneself from the rest of the Eldar military command. Tension between an exarch and an Autarch have occurred on many battlefields, but the Autarch should always understand the prideful desire of a warrior of a specific aspect shrine towards proving their way of war is superior than any other. It is up to the Autarch to use his leadership skills to redirect the passion of these exarchs and create a cohesive Eldari war host. The Autarch is a perfect general to recapture or defend Eldar artifacts and ancient sacred sites. Such was the case for Althenway Ilunavar, also known as the Scourger of Serator Prime. He has always been fearsome in the defense of the Eldar, their ancient sites, and their artifacts, and has brought many inquisitive rogue traders to ruin. In recent history, Ilunavar appears to have become a major guardian of sites and locations sacred to the Eldar, in particular throughout Winter-scale realms and the Cornus Expanse. Ilunavar's complete destruction of the rogue trader Pietro Ironarm's flotilla in orbit around Valsetti Salvation marked the intensifying of Eldar aggression in the region. Ironarm's flotilla had followed years of research that indicated the hidden location of an ancient Xeno crash site on Salvation. Soon after the first survey craft landed, a wave of Eldar assault ships attacked, destroying all but the ships in orbit. The rogue trader's forces still on the ground were annihilated by an overwhelming force of aspect warriors, led by Iluvanar himself. His swooping hawk wings allowed him to descend upon Ironarm as he fled into the desert. It's important to remember that Autarchs are only leaders at times of war, meaning that an Autarch does not permanently retain his command rank. Once the time of war has subsided, the Autarch will return to his previous path and continue to serve whatever aspect shrine they last belonged to. The Autarch is always guided by seers, who make sure that an Autarch does not get overwhelmed by the powers of his elevated rank. And those were 40 facts on the Eldar Autarch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about the Autarch today is because I have a huge favor to ask of you guys. I want to create a homebrew Space Marine chapter based around the ancient Mesoamerican cultures of the Mayan and the Aztec. So think of the blood jaguars, but instead of having jaguar pelts and like different animal skins, I want to just have the theme of like the feathers and the skulls that are very like Aztec and Mayan themed. And if you look at the Eldar Autarch, the headdress or not the headdress, but the helmet that the Autarch has, and the feathers that form the crest on his kind of like a mohawk, it's kind of the theme that I'm going for with the feathers. I really like that aesthetic. And the question for you is, do you know of any third-party or GW kits that I can use to have that aesthetic and have bits that can fulfill that type of aesthetic? I'm also looking at the Seraphon line from Age of Sigmar. I know a lot of the skink models have like really cool feathery bits and stuff like that, and I've been checking on eBay to see if I can buy any of that kind of stuff. I want to try to stay away from the cartoony looking like bits, like the Aztec bits from the Seraphon line, because they do have some cool looking snakes. It's just I don't want to go with that like more cartoony and primitive look. I want it to look more sci-fi like the Eldar. So if you guys know of any, like I said, third party or any kits within Games Workshop that I can use specifically for a Space Marine Primaris to kit bash my Aztec and Mayan themed Space Marine chapter, please let me know in the comment section below. It would really help out if I can find those stuff, and then I actually want to start making some conversion videos or playing around with some type of like video vlog series or something that can show the timeline or show the progression of my homebrew chapter. But yeah, if you guys can help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. If you guys have suggestions for any other topics about Warhammer 40K, let me know in the comment section below. Any questions, let me know in the comment section below. And I really hope that you guys can help me out and lead me in the right direction as to where I can find these bits for my homebrew chapter. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. This is Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.